Hey guys, many of you have asked me for some new rogue builds, so I'm finally doing a break from the Spiritborn class. And today I want to showcase you the first rogue build for this season, which is an all-time favorite of mine, and this is the Flurry Rogue. So this video I'm trying to showcase you everything important that you need to know for this build. The footage you can see here is actually from the last PTR, so I was not able to test it yet in the live game because I was spending a lot of time with the Spiritborn. But I'm pretty sure that this build should be very potent. I could test it quite a lot in the PTR, and here you can see me doing a pit 90, which is somewhat of a pit 100 to 110 due to the new difficulty system. So the game got a lot more difficult in Season 6 Vessel of Hatred. So a pit 80 now is, or let's say a pit 100 in BTR is now something like a pit 80. So I'm pretty sure that this build should be very fine this season. You should be able to clear pit 100. And yeah, let's just talk about the strengths and weaknesses first. So Flurry, as always, is a very powerful speed farming build. So you can play it in a way where you are very efficient with speed farming content like Infernal Hordes, Nightmare Dungeons, Helltide, the new Undercity Kurast dungeon from Season 6. And also, you are very fast and tanky. So this build has incredible survivability. We have tons of life, we have tons of damage reduction, since we are also playing with momentum. In this PTR version I was playing with close quarters combat, but actually in Season 6 I can recommend you to play with momentum. I have done some calculations and I believe this is the strongest build in DPS numbers, but also it makes you very tanky, because momentum gives you a bunch of damage reduction as well. So yeah, very tanky, very fast. You can either choose the modifier for Flurry, which makes you dash to all targets, so you can basically teleport just like the Spiritborn. I think this is the closest thing that comes to the Ravager Spiritborn mechanic with core skills. Or for some pit pushing you could also change it to deal more damage with your Flurry, but for speed farming it's not recommended. And yeah, so you have tons of mobility, tons of survivability, a lot of AoE damage. So basically all that you need for a decent and fun speed farmer build. So the only weakness I would say is still kind of single target, or let's say the boss damage in general, or boss fights in general. So Rogue as a class is very dependent on staggering bosses to deal more damage. This is still very annoying. I think this hasn't changed a lot in Season 6. But what has changed is that we, for example, got a new Tempering Recipe for Flurry, which makes now Flurry have a chance up to 100% in the endgame, so basically active all the time, to deal double damage with your Flurry cast, sorry. So I would think that Flurry got a lot more powerful this season, even though boss damage is kind of low. It still should be very fine, and sorry for all the lags here, by the way, my PC can't handle the PTR very well. So yeah, you will see the boss fight in a second here. But yeah, that's all I have to say for Flurry. So here you can see, yeah, the boss damage is not the greatest, you have to fight him for a bit. But once you stagger, you can see the damage just explodes. We're dealing 5 to 6 times more damage maybe with to crowd control enemies. So yeah, if you like fast, mobile, tanky builds that do a lot of good stuff in speed farming content and may struggle a little bit with single target or bosses, then this build should be very fun to you, and I can highly recommend it. So I could not talk about skill rotation here, I just forgot it, sorry for that. So now we can just watch another short gameplay here. I just want to cover everything quite fast here. So in this setup, of course, we spam Flurry. This is our major damage skill. And we also have a lot of utility skills. So of course, something like Shadow Step is here to help us survive to survive in some dangerous situations or to get unstoppable if we need it. But we also have something like Heartseeker here. So Heartseeker is not for generating resources or something. We can spam our Flurry all the time. Basically, we have no resource problems due to inner sight. But Heartseeker is here to buff our critical strike damage and also give us attack speed. So we get, I think, 16% attack speed, which is important to reach the next available attack speed frame. So to just attack faster. And also it gives us some crit damage and also damage in general, because we need a marksman skill for our Paragon node tricks of the trade to deal 25% more damage. So Heartseeker here is more like a utility skill, just buffs our stats. And also we have Smoke Grenade and Poison Trap. So Smoke Grenade, you just want to engage fights, especially fighting elite packs like here you can see. So always daze them first with Smoke Grenade, they take more damage. And Poison Trap also has some interesting utility effects here. So because of the skill tree, we want to deal poisoning damage to enemies, because then we will have some further damage reduction from them, and more importantly we will get up to 15 or later 20% attack speed bonus for poisoning enemies. And Poison Trap is just perfect for that. It also knocks down enemies, especially elite packs, so you can just have a more smooth fight here in higher pits. So for that reason I would always engage with Smoke Grenade and Poison Trap. And Caltrops is something you can also lay down, especially for pit pushing, but in Speed Farm I would just not use it at all. It just makes you very slow, and just use it in boss fights. So it really helps you to boost your damage in this long boss fights. So I would just use it there while speed farming. So yeah, I think that covers very quickly all of this skill rotation here. And now I would say let's just go straight to the Mobalytics planner. So since I could not test it in the live game yet, I think it's the best to just show you guys my planner. So you can find it as always. I put the link down in the description or in the comment section. And here I will have two variants of this build. So we will have a starter and a mythic variant. So very obvious, if you just have no mythics in the start, just take the starter variant. And later on, if you find some mythics, and here we have actually 3 different mythic uniques that will boost your damage and overall power of this build, then you will switch to the mythic variant. And the major differences besides the mythic uniques is also that the boots have slightly different affixes. So for example, on the mythic unique variant, I don't have movement speed on my boots, while on the starter variant I have movement speed on my boots. So this is basically the only change besides this mythic uniques. So if you want to be as fast as possible, you should roll movement speed in the starter variant. And then you can just smoothly transition into the mythic variant. So very simple for you guys, so you have a smooth progression curve, let's say. So let's take a look at this planner here with the starter variant. So talking about requirements, you have very low requirements for this build actually. So you only need all the flurry aspects, which are 2 breakneck, bandit and encircling blades. And I can also highly recommend you Vigor aspect, because that's the one you put on your two-hander with the highest amount of damage boost, if you're playing a momentum build like we do here. So you only need these 3 offensive aspects, then most of your damage will be just there as a standard. So that's basically it. And also armor and resistance cap is quite easily to achieve. You just need the total armor roll on your amulet, which is not too difficult to get. And also 1 armor roll on one of your defensive gear. I can recommend the pants here. And for resistance caps, you only need all of your jewelry, how they called gems. Yeah, so sorry, gems on your jewelry, and you will need 4 Paragon boards. So I think something like 170 Paragon points maybe, and then you will be fully resistance capped, even on the starter variant without Starless Skies, which helps you later in the mythic variant. So very easy and simple requirements here. So very casual friendly build, I would say. It's also very easy to play. So yeah, very good for casuals and just some chilling in Diablo 4. And yeah, now let's maybe talk about the major temperings. So aspects, you can just get it, everything here on the planner, just read it for yourself. But talking about temperings, we have some crucial tempers that you don't want to miss. So every tempering here is kind of important. So first of all, we have flurry size. So you want to reach as nearly 100% flurry size, because then your projectile radius will just double. This is very important for hitting as many enemies as possible. And for that reason, we have it on our gloves and our boots. And on your boots, you also want to master work it a little bit at least. So just crit it 1 or 2 times. Then we have a very important new tempering I was talking in the beginning, which is chance for Flurry to deal double damage. This has changed from chance for Flurry projectiles to hit twice, which is a bit better usually, but it's still very decent. So dealing double damage is quite easy now. You also only need to hit it once with masterworking. With a decent roll, then you should be fully capped out at 100% chance to deal double damage. So this temper alone doubles our damage of this entire build, so very important. Then we have something like chance to freeze enemies. This is also very important, because as always with Rogue, we also want to play with a lot of ranks to frigid finesse. And so in the end, we will also deal double damage versus frozen enemies, let's say. So for that reason, you also don't want to miss this one. Yeah, freeze very important. And for offensive tempers, you want damage per Dark Shroud, since we are playing with momentum. We don't have some specific stats we want to boost, so like crit damage with the precision passive or something. So here you just want to go for damage per Dark Shrouds. We will have 5 Dark Shrouds active all the time, thanks to Umbra's aspect. So yeah, very good temper. And the last one, you might wonder, why do I have Heartseeker duration on my amulet? So here I can transition to some FAQ, more frequently asked questions. So why do we have Heartseeker? So if you missed it in the first gameplay part, if you skipped it there, I was talking about Heartseeker being a powerful utility skill in this build. So Heartseeker increases our damage and attack speed, but it only increases our attack speed for 4 seconds. But with Heartseeker duration utility temper, we can increase it to something like 6 to 8 seconds. And if you can reach up to 8 seconds of this attack speed bonus duration, this just synergizes very well with our Paragon node, which is here this Tricks of the Trade. So let me quickly grab it here. So here we are playing with Tricks of the Trade, and it says that we're dealing 25% more damage if we attack with a marksman skill for 8 seconds. So for that reason, Heartseeker is our marksman skill, which gives us this legendary node bonus. Yeah, so for that reason you want this Heartseeker duration temper. And yeah, I just realized you cannot see it on the screen actually. I'm sorry for that. In the next video I will fix this, but check the planner anyways. So yeah, okay. But yeah, this is basically all I can say for the tempers here. And yeah, Heartseeker duration important for that reason. And also Dark Shroud, this is another question that many people ask me all the time. Why don't I have Dark Shroud in my skill bar, but I skill it as a skill? So again, here we have the Umbra's aspect, which makes us automatically cast this Dark Shrouds for free. We just have to hit some lucky chance, which is not too difficult to achieve with Flurry. So yeah, this is the reason why we have Umbra's Dark Shrouds in the skill tree, but not on the skill bar. Yeah, okay. And last tips for pit pushing, let's say. So here you also have the gameplay loop again. So for pit pushing, you can replace improved Flurry with advanced Flurry. So I can show you this in the skill tree. So here usually you want to play with improved Flurry for speed farming, but you can also change to advanced Flurry to deal more damage, and this is just recommended for pushing the pit. So if you want to go pit 100 and higher maybe. So just some last tips here. Then while we are here in the skill tree, oh man, I just realized the setup is not optimal. Okay, 1 second maybe. Okay, I can actually move this. So I should have moved it like this. So here we can see we have the skills, but actually also this you can just check out in the planner. But yeah, just a quick overview. We have momentum here. We get a lot of movement speed from momentum and also from our Dark Shroud. So for that reason, we don't need any movement speed on our boots later in the Mythic variant. So very handy. And I can quickly go over the Paragon board, but again, just check it out in the planner. So let me just quickly do it like here. So we have the Headhunter glyph here in the starting board. Then we have the control glyph and cheap shot. Next we have, as I already mentioned, tricks of the trade board with chip glyph. Then exploit weakness with combat glyph. And the last board is no witness with devious. So here maybe I can also talk a little bit about this legendary node here. So no witness usually requires you to cast the ultimate skill, and then you will have this huge 45% damage bonus if you reach some threshold of ultimate skill damage, which we do with this Paragon board here and devious glyph. But you might wonder, I don't have a ultimate skill on my skill bar. So the reason for that is we are playing with some runes, and we are actually playing with the Yom rune. And for the Rogue class, it is the case that the Yom rune, which is evoking the Druid's Petrify, which is an ultimate skill from the Druid class. So this ultimate from the Druid class also triggers all of our Rogue effects. So casting this Petrify skill from the Yom rune will also trigger your no witness board and give you this 45% damage increasement. So this is the reason why we don't need the ultimate skill in our skill tree. And the other rune is Cry. So here I just want to have a Vortex from Spiritborn, pull in enemies. Very good for Flurry. Obviously, you just want to hit as many targets as possible. So I think this is the other next best glyph you can use. Okay guys, but that's actually it. I don't want to make this video too long. So I hope you like this build. Check out the link in the description and in the comment section. Write me how successful you are with this build. I did not test it yet, as I mentioned, besides the PTR, but not in Season 6. But I'm pretty sure it's a very decent build, so I think it's a very powerful speed farming build for the Rogue class. Maybe the most powerful and fun speed farmer. So I believe this will work just very well. But just write me down your feedback for this build if you have played it for a bit. So yeah, I would say thank you guys for watching. As always, you can subscribe to this channel to not miss any further guides. And also leave me a like, write down a comment. This would always support my channel. And yeah, I hope I see you in the next video, guys. Until there, have a nice day and bye bye.